Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about how you can plan your homeschool curriculum, your kind of homeschool year. Just going over our process. I had a few questions about this, so I thought I'd just kind of go through my different thoughts and kind of what I do. So if you are new to my channel, I created this channel as a homeschooling resource to go over curriculum, which is what we're doing today, to do some different organizational ideas, some unboxings, and just ways to invite Christ into your homeschool space. So if you're interested in those things, please hit that subscription box and let's talk about how to plan homeschool. So we started homeschooling almost 4 years ago. Going into this fall will be our 4th year homeschooling. And so the first couple years is like, okay, I gotta write everything out and very much have everything scheduled. And so I tried an online planning system that was free. I think it was free, I can't even remember now. So I found that and I was like, okay, so I took all this time and went in and entered all the curriculum and everything and how we were gonna do it and what we were gonna do each week. And then it wasn't my favorite. I didn't feel like it worked super well and I had to always be getting on my computer to look at it and it just wasn't very convenient for me. So I decided not to use it the next year. So then the next year, Confessions of a Homeschooler has a planner type thing she puts out for each of the grades. And she has one that has a set curriculum on it. Like she'll outline everything you have to do if you want to use the curriculum she is using for her kids or that she has used in the past. And so you can use that, or she has one that's editable. Is that even how you say it? I don't know. I hate that word. You know what I mean? So you can take it into Word and you can delete all of her curriculum and put in your own, and it has each of the days. So I'll link all that stuff down below in my blog post if you want to check it out. I used to have books of them, but I just recently threw them away because I wasn't thinking about showing them to anybody. But I like that outline. I like being organized like that. But both of these situations, either online or a booklet that goes in my kids' drawer that they can look at and cross off, within a week or two of being in school, we're already not on that schedule anymore because either math was too easy or it was too hard, or we had to do more phonics or less phonics, or we made it through our reading so much faster than we thought. So this plan that I had set out was ruined and it wasn't worth the hours and hours I had put into having to enter everything for all of my kids. So I stopped doing that this last year and just kind of flew by the seat of my pants, I guess. Not really. I have a very organized brain, which is sometimes a problem, but I can just look at some of the booklets we have and know, okay, we need to do 2 of these a day if we want to get through it by the end of the year. And we need to do, this many lessons a week if we want to finish our math by the end of the year. And so that was something that I wanted to point out first of all, is if you have a certain curriculum you wanted to use, go through it. So I just brought an example. So this is our science for next year. So you go through it and you look at all the units. Not all of them have them clearly outlined, but this one has a whole bunch of weeks right here and then some on the back side. So what I would do is I'd go through, I'd count up how many weeks there are, go through how many weeks we're going to be spending in the school year, and then I would just decide, okay, if we do 1 of these a week, we'll be done by the end of the school year. Maybe we need to do 2 a week sometimes. So then look through and say, oh, we could combine this and this together. That wouldn't be too much more work or be too hard on me or whatever, to try to get everything prepared for us to do 2 science things in a week instead of just 1. And so that's kind of how I go through that process, is just thinking about the school year and about the curriculum we want to use. And then it's easy for me to just kind of keep track in my brain what we're working on. I know some people write it down in planners, they have little notebooks. So it's like, okay, week 1, we're doing this, week 2, we're doing this. And so it's a little bit easier to change and it doesn't take as much time as if you're listing every single lesson that you're gonna do every single day, because then you might not end up doing that. I also know, so I recently watched something from Angela Braniff about school planning, and she writes down every day just what they did accomplish that day. So then she's at least keeping track of what they did do, and she can kind of keep an idea of how they're doing for the school year. So that's also an idea. So let me consult my notebook to make sure I tell you all the things I was thinking. So that was kind of the first thing, is just, I don't have a set written down schedule for every single day because it gets messed up too quickly and it's not worth the time. So just kind of outline a general idea of what you're gonna be doing for the year, so that it's easier to change and it doesn't consume your time during the summer trying to make up a set schedule that's just gonna be ruined, guys. It's gonna get ruined. So the next thing is what you want your homeschool schedule to look like. And this is gonna be different for everyone. Let me just tell you a few things about ours. So the first couple years we homeschooled, we did school about 4 days a week. And now we just do it 3 days a week. And that's because this last year, my older two kids started going to a charter school. It's like a co-op group once a week. And so they go from like 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, and they do a whole bunch of history type stuff, a lot of hands-on artsy type things. And so I just figured we don't need schoolwork that day, obviously. But so we did school Monday through Wednesday. They go to the charter school on Thursday. So then Friday we started doing game schooling. At the very beginning of the year, we didn't do game schooling. We tried to come back after charter school and do book work on Friday. It was just a little bit hard to get everyone in the groove and stuff. So I was like, okay, we have all these educational games, so let's just apply them and do that. So we're still learning. We're still doing math and reading and geography stuff, but we're doing it through games. And so that's worked really well for us, and it'll probably continue in the fall as well, as long as they can go to charter school. I'm not really sure what's happening, but so then my older 3 kids will go instead of just the older 2 to the charter school. So that's kind of what our schedule looks like. And we do music in the afternoons usually. That's when I kind of like to schedule it when we're in a normal school routine. I'm one of those that likes to get up in the morning and get up early and just get stuff done in the morning. So that's when we do all of our book work. And then the afternoon, my kids will play while I try to do some other things around the house or with work type stuff. And so that's kind of how our schedule works. I know some people like to do schoolwork while they have young ones napping, because toddlers and babies can be a little bit difficult. So I did do that a little bit when we lived in California. My youngest was just a few months old, but she also took a lot of naps. So she could still nap in the morning, we could still do schoolwork in the morning, and then be done by the afternoon. I'm not one, when she was napping in the afternoon, I'm like, I was selfish and I would like that time just to have a quiet moment to relax and to chill from the day and from the craziness. So I'd rather fight her in the morning, which wasn't too horrible when she found something for her to do, than have that nap time taken up by doing schoolwork with my kids. But I know a lot of people that like to use nap time as a time to do schoolwork, because then it's one less child. I also have had kids going to preschool, and I've liked having them go to preschool because then it is one less child to worry about, and usually during a time when they're a little bit crazy. At least this last couple years, my 3rd child, he's a little bit crazy. So it's been nice not to have him around for 3 mornings a week, because then I can really focus, and especially with my oldest, to help him with stuff, because sometimes he's having a better day than not. So I just, you never know how it's gonna go. So anyways, that's kind of how we have formatted things, but find a schedule that works for you. Just because someone else does a certain schedule doesn't mean it's the best schedule for you. So figure out what works and go with that. So the next thing is to have some sort of planner. I don't use them, again, to write down every little detail of the day, but I still find them very helpful. So I have 2 different options that I really like here. This is the Erin Condren one that isn't spiral bound, which I actually really like because it lays flat this way. So you open it and it just lays flat like this. I don't use this for homeschool. I've been using it for work related blog and YouTube stuff. So in here, I just color code it and write what I'm planning to do for the week. You just saw my plans. I'm just kidding. And so I like to use it for that, but this planner would also be really good for homeschool stuff. So as you can see, each day has some different categories. So if you had certain things that each of the kids needed to accomplish, or if you wanted to use it to write down what they did accomplish for that day, you could do that in these different blocks. You could also just maybe, science today, geography, and then history, write down those things, because those are the only ones I sort of have to plan a little bit more, because they usually require extra supplies. So I'll look at a few weeks in advance and see what we're gonna need to make sure I have it. So you could always write those things down there and just have a little bit of its own little block of time so that you can figure out what you're supposed to need for it. So that's one of those options. Another planner I really like is in the Leafy Treetops planner. This is the back of it. That's the little tag right there. And so this is the front, and she has different covers every year. She has ones that are academic calendars and ones that are a normal like calendar year from January to December. So I get the just January to December ones, but you could do the school year ones as well. So this originally was just catered towards members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It has a lot of doctrine stuff in here, a lot of scripture type stuff in here, but she also has a non-denominational one now, and she has tons of other options. She has smaller versions and just tons of options that you can look at and see what would work best for you. So let me show you a page that I haven't written on yet. This is in October. You can see my grandpa's birthday. So this is what it looks like. She also has ones that are separated a little bit differently, and they go this way, I think. I'm trying to even remember, but she has a lot of different options. And so you can write here what you're doing for the day. You could use this side block for something else. Again, if you wanted to, oh, this is what we're gonna do for science today, or this is what I need to start preparing for science, you could write that over here. And then maybe what you just need to do for the day over here. So these are a few of the planners that I like to use and I feel are helpful. If you have planners you love, I am always in the mood for new planners, even though I shouldn't. Like, what are you gonna do with a billion planners? But I just love them. I love to have everything planned out. So please link your favorite planners below, because I would love to see them. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is just a few ideas when picking curriculum. So the first one is whether you want independent learning, or just independent work versus something you have to be heavily involved in. So when you're looking at curriculum, okay, can they just sit down and mostly do this by themselves? How much do I have to be involved? Do I have to prepare a lot in advance? Because if you're having to do that every single day, that could be kind of exhausting. Unless that's what you like to do, then do it. So we kind of mix it kind of hit in the middle, because I encourage them with a lot of their book work. It's more independent learning, but then our group work we do together. And so while I'm helping one child, the other children can still be working. Whereas if they have something that I need to be heavily involved in, it's really hard to have all the kids working at the same time, because I can't help everybody. So make sure you have kind of a balance, or decide what works best for your family and for your kids and the ages they're at, because you don't want to be overwhelmed and just feel like you're not helping everyone. So the next thing is whether or not you want more screens versus hands-on. So do you do all your curriculum on a computer type thing, all their math, all that kind of stuff? Do they need to watch a tutorial type or a lesson, I guess, on the computer? Or would you prefer them to be in centers doing stuff hands-on, maybe going outside and having to find things and stuff like that? And so I prefer more hands-on stuff than them being on screens. I feel like they're already on screens enough as it is, so we don't need to add more. I know some curriculum is only available online, and that might be easier for some people. So just kind of, again, decide, do you want to use screens? Do you want to do hands-on? Find a balance in the middle. And then the next thing is the age of your kids. Like, this is a really good thing to think about, because again, if you provide too much curriculum that they need help with, they need your help with, then you're going to be overwhelmed as you're trying to take care of them. Or maybe you have a baby to take care of, but maybe you have some older children. And so it's like, oh, if they could have scheduled into their day these 30 minutes, if so-and-so that's younger needs help, they can help them with their math or explain it while you're helping someone else. So that's something else to think about when you're picking curriculum. If you have older kids that can help, or maybe you have a child that's more independent and willing to just go through their work really easily without your help, you might pick a different curriculum for them than you would for a child that's a little bit more needy. That sounds not a nice word, but you know what I mean. So then I think the last thing is just, again, your schedule. How many days of school are you planning? Most curriculums are kind of oriented around a 5-day school week, but it doesn't mean obviously you have to do 5 days. Some people, that's why they homeschool through the summer, is because they only do homeschool for 4 or 3 days, and so then they can finish the curriculum through the summer. I don't like to do full-blown school in the summer, so something else you could do is use all the extra lessons that you didn't get to as review over the summer. So you don't have to buy extra like summer review or get online or something and find something for your kids to use as a summer review. You can just use the curriculum that you haven't gotten to, and you can have them use that as review over the summer. So I've really enjoyed doing that this year. It's really easy and it's already prepared and I can just give it to them. So that's something that I like to do. So I hope this video is helpful. I feel like I was kind of like all over the place today and struggling a little bit, but hopefully that just gives you an idea of how we plan out our homeschool and gives you some ideas of things you can think about as you're trying to plan homeschool for you. So please list below how you plan your homeschool. If it's different than we do, I'm sure it's different, everyone's different, but I would love to just hear your ideas, things that you found most helpful, and again, planners, because we love planners, so put those down below, please. And we will see you next time.